Hello, this is Stephen Balch, your instructor for Computer Applications Online at Ozarka College. In this video, I'm going to take you through the steps to complete Word Module 3 Assignment 2, which is the Apply Your Knowledge assignment at the end of Module 3. Starts on page WD 3-60. Alright, so the first thing it says to do is start Word and then open up the data file, and it gives you the name of the data file. So the first thing we're going to need to do is save that data file to our computer from the activities page in MyOzarka. So you're going to need to log into MyOzarka, go obviously to this course, which is CPSI 1003 Section 90. You're going to go to the activities page, and of course go to under week 5, you're going to click on Word Module 3 Assignment 2. Alright, and it gives you some general instructions at the top there. And then you'll notice under the Resources heading on that page, you see the link to the data file that you're going to need for this assignment. Alright, so what I'm going to do is right click on that link, click on Save Link As, and then I'm going to type in the name, which is SC_WD _ 3 _ 1. Alright, once you get that name typed in, you're going to navigate up in the upper pane of the Save As dialog box. You're going to need to navigate to where you want to save the file. It doesn't really matter where you save it, just as long as you're able to access it in just a minute when you need to. Alright, so just save it wherever you normally save your work for this class. Alright, and then what you're going to do is you're going to open up Word. You're going to open up Microsoft Word on your computer and go click under on the left side of the Word dialog box. You're going to click on Open Other Documents, and then you're going to click Browse, and then you're going to use the navigation pane up here to navigate to where you just saved that file. Alright, so you're going to need to navigate to the same folder where you just saved that file. Alright, and click on the file name and click on Open. Okay, and it'll open up that data file. Alright, once we've done that, you'll notice in this data file there's already some text and there's already a basic table inserted, and our job here is to do some formatting to the titles, to the table, and then we're going to add a SmartArt graphic at the bottom of the document and format it. Alright, so we've done step 1 at the bottom of page 3-60. So the next thing we need to do is, it says in the line containing the table title, donor categories, remove the tab stop at the 1-inch mark on the ruler. Okay, so to remove a tab stop, all you do very simply is, first of all, you'll need to make sure you click on the paragraph where you want to remove the tab stop. Alright, in this case it's the title at the very top of the document where it says donor categories. So you're going to click somewhere in that paragraph and then go up to the ruler, which is right below the ribbon at the top of the page, and you'll notice there's a 1-inch tab set right here, a 1-inch left tab. To remove a tab stop, all you do is point to the tab stop on the ruler, hold down the left mouse button, and then drag off of the ruler, drag down, and it will remove that tab from the ruler. Alright, and so that's how simple it is to remove a tab. Alright, once you've done that, then it wants us to set a center tab at the 3-inch mark on the ruler on that same paragraph. Alright, so make sure our insertion point is on that first paragraph of the document where it says donor categories. And to set a tab, basically it's the same way that we set it for the letter in the module. You're just going to find the 3-inch mark, but what you're going to have to do first, though, is since we're wanting to set a center tab, over here on the left-hand side of the ruler is where you select what kind of tab you want to set. The default tab stop is a left tab, but what we want to set is a center tab. So what you're going to do is toggle through these various tab stops over here on the left-hand side of the ruler until you get to the center tab stop. Alright, so all you're going to do to toggle is just click, and when you click on the left tab stop icon, it'll change to a center tab. And you can point to it and it'll say center tab. If you go too far, just keep toggling through by clicking on the selector there until you get back to the center tab. Okay? And then once you've got the center tab set there, then you're going to actually click the 3-inch mark on the ruler. Okay? Just click on the 3-inch mark on the ruler and it sets that center tab at the 3-inch mark. Okay? Now, next thing it wants us to do is move that center tab stop to the 3.25-inch mark on the ruler. So to move a tab stop, all you do is drag and drop it on the ruler. So you're going to point to that center tab stop that we just set, and you're just going to drag it over to the 3.25-inch mark, which is right there. Okay? It's going to be right in between the 3-inch mark and the 3.5-inch mark, obviously, on the ruler. Alright, just make sure you get it in the right place there. Alright, and then the next thing it wants us to do is in the line containing the SmartArt graphic title, Donor Funds Distribution Chart, remove clear all tab stops. So we're going to click down here on the very last paragraph of the data file where it says Donor Funds Distribution Chart, and we're going to clear all the tab stops basically by basically the same method that we used to delete the first tab stop on that previous paragraph. We're just going to point to each one of the tab stops, one by one. So start at with the left tab stop set at the 3-inch mark and just drag it off of the ruler. Alright, and it removes that one, and do the same thing for the one that's set at the 5-inch mark and the one that's set at the 6-inch mark. Okay? Alright, now another way that you can clear tab stops in addition to dragging them off the ruler is you can actually go into the paragraph dialog box launcher right here and go down to tabs, and there is a clear all button right here that you can use to clear all the tabs at one time. So you can do it either way. You can either drag the tabs off the ruler, or you can go into the tabs dialog box and click clear all. But you'll just have to make sure that you're on the paragraph, that your insertion point's on the paragraph where you want to remove those tab stops from. Alright, so once we've got that done, then it wants us to bold the characters in the donor categories title. So we're going to move back up here to the first column, or not first column, first paragraph of our document where it says donor categories. We're going to select that text by dragging through it, and then we're going to click on the increase font size button to get it up to the 16-point font size. So just keep clicking on increase font size button until you get up to 16-point font size. And then it wants us to click the decrease font size button one time to get it down to 14-point. Alright, the main thing it's wanting you to do there is just kind of get used to using those font size, increase and decrease font size buttons by getting some practice in using those. Alright, so next thing it wants us to do is change the color of the donor categories title to blue accent 1 darker 25%. So make sure the text is still selected, and we're going to go to the font color down arrow, click on that, and then we're going to click on the blue accent 1 darker 25% font color, which is that one right there. Okay, so we've got that font color applied. Now on step 6 on the top of page 3-61, it wants us to use the Format Painter tool to copy the formatting from the table title paragraph to the SmartArt graphic title paragraph. Okay, and we learned how to use Format Painter in Module 3, so we're going to basically do it the same way here. Make sure that the donor categories text is still selected, because you have to select the text that you applied the formatting to that you want to copy before you click the Format Painter button. So make sure that donor categories, the title is selected, and then you're going to click on Format Painter in the clipboard group of the Home tab. When you do that, you'll notice your mouse pointer will change to a kind of a little paintbrush icon, and then what you're going to do is use that little paintbrush icon pointer to drag through the donor funds distribution chart title at the bottom of the document. Okay, when you do that, you'll notice it applies all the formatting that was applied to the donor categories title is now also applied to the donor funds distribution chart. And that includes the increase in the font size, the change in the font color, and the tab that we set for that text. All of that is now also applied to that donor funds distribution chart title. All right. Once you get that done, just click somewhere in your document to deselect that text. All right. Next thing we're going to do is apply the underline style called thick underline below the characters in the donor funds distribution chart title. All right, so we're going to need to drag through that text, donor funds distribution chart, and we're going to click the underline button arrow so that we see the different underline styles that are available for us. And then the thick underline is the third style. When you point to it, it'll say thick underline in the screen tip. All right, so click thick underline. All right, then it also wants us to change the underline color to orange accent 2, lighter 40%. So we're going to go back up to the underline button arrow and click on it, and down at the bottom of that menu is the underline color command, and you're going to point to that, and it opens up the gallery of various underline colors that we can choose from. And the one that it wants us to choose is orange accent 2, lighter 40%, which is that one right there. Okay, just use the screen tip that that opens when you point to the various colors to find the right color. Okay. All right, once we've done that, it wants us to, in the table, select one of the duplicate rows containing the butterfly category and delete the row. All right. And there are a couple different ways you can delete rows and columns in your table. I'm going to show you the way that's probably the easiest for you to learn. So if you'll notice in the table, in the data file that we opened up, there are currently 2 butterfly columns over here. The second, or butterfly rows. The second and third rows are both butterfly. They're duplicate rows. And so what it wants us to do is delete one of those. So to delete a row, all you're going to do is point to the left of the row that you want to select and click, and it'll select that entire row. And then what you're going to do is go up to the Table Tools Layout tab. Okay, Table Tools Layout tab, and in the Rows and Columns group, there is a Delete button. You're going to click on Delete, and then you'll see a drop-down list that gives you the option of what you want to delete. And in this case, we want to delete the row that we have selected. So we're going to click on Delete Rows. Alright, and it just gets rid of one of those duplicate butterfly rows in our table. Alright, next thing on step 9 there on page 3-61, in the table it wants us to select one of the duplicate columns containing the recognitions title and delete that column. So you'll notice the last two columns in our table are the same. They're duplicates. And so what we want to do is basically use the same method that we used to delete the row. We want to now use to delete the column that we don't need. So we're just going to click somewhere in the column that we want to delete and go up to the delete button, just like we did before. But in this case, we're going to click on Delete Columns. Alright, and it just deletes the column that our insertion point was in. Okay, so take a minute to make sure that you have the table column and row deleted that it said to in the instructions there. Alright, once you have that done, what we're going to do is insert, on step 10 there, we're going to insert a column between the amount and ID columns. Alright, so between amount and ID, and to insert a column, it's very simple. You just move your mouse pointer to the dividing line between the two columns where you want to insert that column, which in this case would be in between amount and ID. And that little, you're going to use that little insert button there, that little plus sign that opens up when you point to that dividing line between the two columns. You're going to click on that, and it will add a column for you. Okay, so that's that insert control that allows you to insert a column. And then what you're going to do is click on the first cell of that column and type in what it says there, which is email updates. Then you're going to click on the second cell of that column and type in what it shows there. And then you're going to click the third cell in that column and click in or type in what it says. Okay, just kind of correct your spelling errors as you go. You notice I had a couple of spelling errors that I had to fix there. And just keep going. Just type in the remaining cells of that column. It gives you the text to type in for each one of those. Alright, once you get that all typed in, just kind of check it, make sure it's correct. Again, if you have any spelling errors, go ahead and correct those. Alright. Then on step 11, it wants us to insert a new row above the bison row. Alright, a new row above the bison row. So to do that, we're going to point to the dividing line between the owl row and the bison row. Alright, because we want the new row to appear above the bison row. Alright, and we're just going to click that insert control there, that little plus sign that appears. Alright. And it will add the row in there for you, and then you just click on the first cell of the row and it tells you what to type in there. So in the first cell in that row, you're going to type in elk, and then you can use the tab key to move to the next column, and it tells you the amount to type in, which is $500. And then you can press tab to move to the next column, and then you're going to type in what it shows there, and then tab, and then the ID is card and pin, so you're going to type that in the ID column. And then under discounts, you're going to type in 10% in store. And then the last column, you're going to type in online and paver. Just make sure that you don't have any spelling errors in the text that you just typed. Alright, correct any spelling errors that you have. Alright, once we've done that, we've added we've gotten rid of the column and row that we don't want, and we've added the column and row that we do want in our table. And so now what we're wanting to do is we need to check the table styles options group to make sure that specific checkboxes are checked. Alright, so to do that, you're just going to make sure your insertion point somewhere in the table. And you're going to click on the Table Tools Design tab up on the ribbon. And on the left-hand side of the Table Tools Design tab sheet, you'll notice there's a Table Style Options group. And there are 6 options there and 6 checkboxes. Alright? And what it wants us to do is make sure that header row, banded rows, and first column are the only boxes that are checked. Okay? So if there's anything else that's checked, deselect it. If some of those aren't checked, go ahead and check them. So go ahead and check and uncheck as you need to make sure that only header row, banded rows, and first column options are checked. Alright, once you have that done, next thing we're going to do is apply the grid table 6 colorful accent 4 style to the table. Alright, so the table styles gallery is on the design tab. So if you haven't already, click Table Tools Design up on the ribbon and click the More button for the Table Styles gallery, and it'll drop down a gallery of all the various table styles that we can choose from. And the one that it wants us to apply is called Grid Table 6 Colorful Accent 4. Which is this one right here. Grid Table 6 Colorful Accent 4. So we're going to click on that style. It applies that style to the table. Alright. Next thing it wants us to do is select the entire table and change the font color of all the text in the selected table to blue accent 1 darker 25%. So to select the entire table, you're going to click on this little move handle on the upper left hand corner of the table. Just click on that and it'll select the entire table. And then what you're going to do once the entire table is selected is you're going to go up to the Home tab up on the ribbon and click the font color button arrow, and you're going to apply the blue accent 1 darker 25% font color, which is that one right there. Okay. Alright, then it wants us to position the insertion point at the end of the donor funds distribution chart title, which is right here. So we're going to make sure our insertion point is on the right hand side to the right of that donor funds distribution chart title at the bottom of the document there. And then we're going to press enter. Alright. And then we're going to click the clear formatting button in the font group of the Home tab to make sure that any formatting that was applied above that paragraph that we're on now is removed from this paragraph that we're about to insert our SmartArt on. Okay? So once you click on clear all formatting, then what we're going to do is on the blank line below the title donor funds distribution chart, we're going to insert a diverging radial SmartArt graphic. It's in the cycle category. So if you'll remember from the module when we inserted the SmartArt, the way that we do that is we go to Insert up on the ribbon. And actually, before we do that, we want to center this paragraph. It actually said to do that on the last part of step 15. I just kind of overlooked it. So we need to go to the Home tab first before we insert the SmartArt, and click the center button to center that paragraph. And that way, when we insert the SmartArt, it will be centered horizontally on the page. Alright, so now we're ready to insert the SmartArt. So we're going to go to the Insert tab up on the ribbon. We're going to click on the SmartArt button. And it says that the style of SmartArt that we want to add is in the cycle category. So over on the left hand side where it shows all the categories of SmartArt that are available, we're going to click on cycle. Alright, and then we're going to find the diverging radial SmartArt graphic. And you can kind of look in your book on page 3-60 where it shows the finished document with the SmartArt included, to kind of get an idea of the kind of SmartArt that we're adding. And so if you kind of use that technique, you can kind of find it a little bit faster. So diverging radial SmartArt graphic is this one right here. And so we're going to click on that and then click OK. And it adds that SmartArt for us. Alright, once the SmartArt is added, we're going to need to add two shapes to the inserted SmartArt graphic. So to do that, we're going to go to the Add Shape button on the left side of the SmartArt Tools Design tab sheet. So we're going to click on Add Shape twice, because we need to add two shapes to the SmartArt. Alright. And then once we've done that, we're going to start entering the text into the shapes of the SmartArt. So the first one that we need to insert the text in is the center shape. So we're going to click on the center shape and type in what it says there on step 17, which is how your donations help. And you'll notice as you type in the text in the SmartArt shape, it will automatically size the text to fit the shape. Alright, so once we've done that, now it wants us to enter the remaining text for the remainder of the shapes in the SmartArt. So we're going to start at the top. We're going to click on the SmartArt shape at the very top of the SmartArt there. And we're going to type in what's shown on step 17 in your book, step 17 on page 361 in your book. And so that one is riverbed cleanup. All right, then we're gonna kind of go clockwise as we enter these the text for these various shapes in the SmartArt graphic. So we entered the text for the top shape. Now we're going to go to the one to the right there. Alright, because we're going clockwise. And this one is educational outreach. And we're going to click on the next one, again going clockwise. This one is trail maintenance. And then we're going to click on the bottom shape, again going clockwise, landscape restoration. And click on the next one, research programs. And then the last one is visitor center operations. Alright, Once you get all the text typed in, just kind of double check it and make sure you get the correct text typed into each shape. Alright, if you notice that you made a mistake, just go back and correct it. Just delete the text that is wrong and insert the correct text there in each one of the shapes. Alright, once you've made sure that they're all correct, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the SmartArt colors to colorful range accent colors 2 to 3. Alright, so we're going to do this basically the same way that we did it in the module. We're going to go up to the Change Colors button on the SmartArt Tools Design tab. Alright, and it opens up the gallery of different color options that we have. And this one's going to be under the colorful category. And so you're going to need to find colorful range accent colors 2 to 3, which is this one right here. Alright, so just use your screen tip to find the correct one. Alright, once you've applied that, it also wants us to apply the SmartArt style called Intense Effect. Alright, and that's over to the right of the Change Colors button. You notice it says SmartArt Styles. So we're going to click the More button for the SmartArt Styles. And we're going to find the Subtle Effect. Alright, which is this one right here. Subtle Effect. Again, use your screen tip to find the correct style. Or actually, I'm sorry, it's not Subtle Effect, it's Intense Effect. Sorry about that. Intense Effect is the one we want to apply right here. Okay? Intense Effect. This one right here. Alright, so we're going to click on that. And then once that's done, you're going to, you might click off of the SmartArt graphic so you can kind of see the whole SmartArt graphic unselected so that you can kind of check it. Just kind of check your document with the one that is shown on page 3-60 in your book, and just make sure that everything's correct. If you notice a mistake, obviously you'll need to go in and correct it. Okay. Once you've got it corrected, then you're going to basically save it one final time by clicking the Save button on the Quick Access toolbar, and then you're going to upload it into Ozarka. Alright, and that is the end of this video. Just let me know if you have any questions. You can always email me or post a question on the discussion board. Thank you.